In this video, I will tell you about layer filters, and layer filters are very important tools for large drawings. So when the drawing generally becomes very large, it starts to accumulate lots of layers, and the layers can even range to hundreds or thousands of layers. So managing that many layers becomes a very difficult task, and with the help of layer filters, you can really make that task easy. So in order to use layer filters, click on this layer properties to bring this layer properties manager, and now here we have lots of layers in this drawing. As you can see here, although the number of layers is not in hundreds, but still we have a fairly large number of layers. Now in this case, let's say that we want to classify these layers depending upon their characteristics or depending upon their properties. For example, the color, the name, and also the states like on, off, freeze, lock, and also the plot. So these conditions can be used to create different filters, and we can then select the objects based upon their filters. So in the first situation, let's create a layer filter which contains all the red layers. So for that, I'll click on this new property filter icon, and this layer filter properties window will pop up. Now let's name it. So I'll name it as red filter. And now we are selecting the color filter. Red is a color, so I'll simply go to this color column. So now click on this color column and you'll see this box. Now click on this box and select the color which you want to include in your filter and click on OK. Now the color has been included and we have all the layers with a red color. Now they are sorted out. Let's click on OK, and here we have a new red filter. If you want to go to the complete list of layers, simply click on this all used layers and we have the complete list. Now let's change the states of these layers. Let's turn off some of these layers, and I'll also ensure that the layers which are off, among those, some of them should have their plot turned off. So I'll turn it off. I'll turn off plot for many more layers. Now once again, let's go to this layer filter and let's name it as off no plot, and we want to create a filter with all the layers which are off and also with all the layers for which plotting is turned off. So I'll first go to this on and off option, and now I'll select this off. So now we have all the layers. Now we also need to select the second condition, which is plot. So go to plot and select no plot. So now we have these many layers which fulfill both the criterias. So all these layers are off and also the plot for these layers is off, and click on OK. So we have this second filter. In a similar way, you can use as many criterias as possible to create different kind of layer property filters. You can not only create the layer property filter based upon their simple properties, but you can also create them using their names. So I'll click on this all unused layers, and now let's have a look at the names of these layers. So the name of these layers are quite random. Let's say that we want to make a layer property filter that start with C. For that, I'll again click on this property filter and I'll give it a name. So I'll type C as the name, and now click on this name field, and now simply type C. So that will make a filter containing all the layers which start with C letter, and let's click on OK. So that's quite easy. But what if we want to create a filter which contains a set of alphabets somewhere in between the complete layer name? For example, we want all the layers in which the third letter is N. For that, I'll once again go to the property filter and I'll name it as N, and now click on the name, and now you need to specify this property using wildcards. So we want third place to be occupied with N, and all the remaining spaces can be occupied by any other letter. So for that, I'll select this question mark. So that will indicate that the first letter could be anything, the second letter could be anything, but the third letter should be N. And now the star or this asterisk mark after N indicates that rest of the letters could be anything. So in this case, you can simply see that the third letter is N in all of these layers, and we have our new layer property filter. So in this way, using different kind of wildcards, you can make a classification of different layers depending upon their properties. And you can not only create this layer property filter, you can even directly use it here in the layer search. Now, for example, if you want to search for any layer in which third letter is B, simply type ? B. And here we have it. The layer with third letter as B will be visible with all of its properties. So in this way, you can use this layer search as well. So that's the layer property filter. We also have a group filter, and using the group filter, you can add the layers manually that may or may not have any properties in common. So for creating the group filter, click on this new group filter icon and give it a name. So I'll name it as new group. Let's press enter. Now once again, I'll double click on all unused layers, and now you simply need to drag and drop all the layers which you want to add in this filter. So I'll select this AM0, add it in this new group, and I'll randomly select some of the layers and I'll add it in this new group. Okay, now double click on this and we have all the layers which we have added, and these may or may not have some properties in common because we have manually added them here. Now there is also an option of inverting the filter. For example, let's just select this red filter, and obviously in this red filter you'll find all the layers containing red as its color. Now if you want to invert the filter, simply click on this invert filter icon and you'll have a list with all the layers except the layers containing red color. In a similar way, you can invert the filter for all of these properties, for example for N, C, or all of these other filters. So that was all about creating layer property and group filters in AutoCAD.